Hello, how's it going? We're doing vanilla Valley of Trials and Durotar today. I realised after I made the last video that originally this was the starting area for both orcs and trolls, so I'll use an orc in this one, and then when I do the Cataclysm videos, I'll use a troll. Problem solved. But anyway, let's go!
Long ago, the Orcish Horde was corrupted by the Burning Legion and lured to the world of Azeroth. For generations, the Orcs made war upon the human kingdoms of Stormwind and Lordaeron. Though the Horde was ultimately defeated, a visionary young war chief named Thrall rose to lead his people in their darkest hour. Under Thrall's rule, the Orcs freed themselves from the chains of demonic corruption and embraced their shamanistic heritage. After years of wandering, the Orcs founded their own kingdom in the harsh wastelands of Durotar. Based in the warrior city of ORGRIMMAR, they stand ready to destroy all who would challenge their supremacy. As a proud defender of Durotar, it is your duty to crush your enemies, both seen and unseen. For the nefarious agents of the Burning Legion still wander the land.
Well, that was a bit ominous. And now for the adventures of Quaif. Yesterday was Quaif's birthday. He'd finally come of age, and like many young orcs, he'd been sent to the Valley of Trials. It was custom for new recruits to be sent to this valley, located in southern Durotar, where they'd complete challenges and test their skills in order to become fully fledged members of the Horde. Although this area was usually safe from external threats, it had recently become tainted with the presence of demons, and that's terrible. Could it be that the rumours of the Shadow Council gaining a foothold in the region were true? Probably, yeah. Quaif woke up nice and early in a cave known as the Den. This is where all the recruits lived and worked during their trials. An orc named Cowtunk approached him and was like, "Well, you're a bit of an eager beaver, ain't you? No doubt you're excited to head out there and kill a dragon, or a demon or something. Well, let me tell you something, Quaif. You ain't shit." Cowtunk explained that before Quaif was ready to face off against any kind of real foe, he might want to try starting off with something small. He advised him to go talk to Gornek, another orc. Maybe he has something a little bit more your speed. Gornek was equally as unimpressed by Quaif. "I was going to send you to go hunt some kodos, but look at you. You'd blatantly die. Tell you what, go kill 6 boars. Think you could manage that?" Quaif could manage that. Quaif can manage anything. So Quaif killed 7 boars, and he felt pretty smug about it. He returned to Gornek, and Gornek was like, "Think you're special, do you? If you want to be in the Horde, you gotta learn to follow instructions. So when I say kill 6 boars, you kill 6 boars. Let's try this again. Go out there and kill as many scorpids as necessary, until you have 8 of their tails. We use the stingers to make an antidote for their venom, because jerks like you keep getting stung by them." Before Quaif could leave, some guy called Galgar was like, "It's hot, innit? Do you need something? Well, since you asked, I'd quite like to make some cactus apple surprise. I just need 6 cactus apples. You'll find them on the cactus plants around here, believe it or not. Cheers, mate." So Quaif walked around collecting some cactus apples, just so some bloke could make some punch. And all was right in the world. To be fair, Galgar did give him some cactus apple surprise for his troubles, and I guess the surprise was, it tasted like shit. Also, some lady called Zoretha Fargaze wanted Quaif to kill some demons called Vile Familiars. 8 of them, to be exact. And Quaif was like, "Wait, really? You're asking me?" He didn't know what to say. This lady was the first person who truly believed in him. But then he saw the Vile Familiars and realised they were just imps, and nowhere near as challenging as he'd thought. Quaif could now finally get back on track. He killed what felt like 1,000,000 scorpids, just so he could loot 8 tails, and return to Gornek. And Gornek was like, "Oh, you are still alive then? You'd been gone so long I figured you'd probably died." Quaif tried to explain that he'd been helping some other people around the valley, but Gornek insisted that he really didn't care. Gornek was done with Quaif. Quaif was going to need to find his next quest on his own. And eventually he did. A foreman named Thazriel was standing around looking kind of annoyed. When Quaif asked him if he needed any help, the foreman explained that he was just sick and tired of how lazy the peons are. I send them off to gather lumber, and they keep taking bloody naps. Do me a favour, take this blackjack with you, and if you find any of them slacking off, just conk them on the head. So Quaif did just that. And it was probably the greatest thing he'd ever done in his life. On his way back to the foreman, Zoretha Fargaze approached him again and was like, "Hey, so I need you to go back to the cave where you killed those little imp things. There's a medallion in there, the Burning Blade medallion. But just be warned, it may be in possession of an agent of the Burning Legion, and you will probably die." It was a good thing Quaif returned to Foreman Thazriel before setting off to get the medallion. Turned out the foreman had lost his favourite pickaxe in the Burning Blade Coven. which is the same cave his other quest was in, so that's handy. On the way to the cave, Queef did get a little bit sidetracked though. He came across a troll, dying of a mortal wound. This troll was called Hanazua, and he tried fighting a particularly vicious scorpion called Sarkoth, and that hadn't gone so well.
Can you kill it? Then I can die happy, Mom.
Bacon sandwich. So Queef killed it, because Queef's well out. He returned to Hanazua, who, in his dying breath, thanked our hero, and then he was like, ugh. Queef allowed a few moments to pass out of respect before heading on his way. But Hanazua was like, actually no, I think I'm alright. You've inspired me, Queef, but I don't think I can make the trek back. So, can you go and ask Gornek to, I don't know, send some people with a stretcher or a wheelchair or something? Once all of that was taken care of, it was time to head to the Burning Blade Coven. Queef knew this was probably going to be the most challenging task he'd faced thus far. Queef headed into the cave and fought his way through more vile familiars as well as fellstalkers. He found Thazril's pick pretty easily, because it was all glowy and stuff, but he also found an orc called Yarog Bane Shadow. He was wearing the Burning Blade medallion, and it turned out he was responsible for summoning the demons that were infesting the area. It was the medallion that was granting him this power, so Queef straight up murdered him and took the medallion back to Zaretha. She explained that although some of the Burning Blade clan had freed itself from demonic control and joined the new Horde, others were still very much loyal to the Burning Legion. It was likely that Queef would have further run-ins with them on his adventures. For now, you should head to SENJIN village and speak to Master Gadrin. He's one of Vol'jin's most trusted advisors. Tell him what we've learned of the Burning Blade cult. Finally, Queef's trials were over and he could leave the valley and head into Durotar itself. Little did he know, a lot of his time in Durotar would consist of being told to go to a place and talk to a guy, who would then tell him to go to another place and talk to another guy. When he arrived at SENJIN village, Master Gadrin was like, you should probably head to Razor Hill as soon as possible and let them know about the demons and stuff. Some people tried to approach him and ask him to do some really mundane things, but Queef told them to sod off. And they were like, if you skip quests, you'll regret it later. But Queef didn't care. When he arrived at Razor Hill, Queef spoke to the current leader of the town, Orgnil Solskar. Orgnil informed Queef of another Burning Blade cultist currently trying to establish a foothold in Durotar, a goblin warlock called Fizzle Darkstorm. Go northwest and kill that little bugger. Another orc named Garthok approached Queef and gave him a bit of a history lesson. Years ago, humans of Kul Tiras encroached on Durotar and violated the pact made by our war chief and Jaina Proudmoore. We forced most of them out, but there are still a few hanging about nearby at Tiragard Keep. Go and kill 10 sailors, 8 marines, and their leader, Lieutenant Benedict. So Queef did just that. He'd never killed any humans before. He actually kind of liked it. When Lieutenant Benedict died, he dropped a weathered envelope. Queef knew it was a crime to open someone else's mail, but big whoops, he does what he wants. Inside the envelope was an official-looking document containing the seal of Admiral Proudmoore. He returned this to Garthok, who seemed a little bit annoyed. Seems even death isn't enough to stop that human twat's legacy of deceit. It won't be long before the next wave of humans land upon our shores. You might want to take that to Vol'jin in ORGRIMMAR. Maybe he can convince our war chief that these humans can't be trusted. Queef then set out to find the goblin warlock, but on the way he came across another goblin, a friendly goblin, called Rezlak. He had a shipment of supplies, but it had been stolen by a bunch of harpies. So Queef went and got the supplies and killed 12 of the harpy bitches. Back to finding the warlock, and our hero found him camped within Thunder Ridge. Queef made quick work of the goblin traitor and cut off the jerk's claw. He took the claw back to Orgnil, who was like, Jesus man, what am I supposed to do with this? Anyway, go speak to one of our shamans, Margos. He's got a job for you. Margos explained that some cultists were hanging about in a cave east of ORGRIMMAR called Skull Rock. He had a theory that these cultists were attuning themselves to demonic power with their weird collars, but he needed to confirm this, so bring me about 6 collars or something. Once again, Queef killed what felt like 1,000,000 cultists until finally he had 6 collars and he returned to Margos. Yep, these are pretty demonic. Bit beyond my comprehension, to be honest. Take them to a warlock called Neru Fireblade in ORGRIMMAR. Maybe he can shed some light on all this. Neru was located in the Cleft of Shadow within ORGRIMMAR. Queef had a feeling this guy was hiding something, but he decided it was probably nothing to worry about. The warlock seemed disturbed by the collars. This confirms my fears. The Burning Blade cult rallies around an object of demonic power called the Demon Seed. Queef wondered how the bloody hell Neru knew that, but again, decided it was probably nothing to worry about. You'll need to head to the Barrens next, Queef. My assistant there will help you in finding this Demon Seed and destroying it. Don't worry, I'm definitely not actually the leader of the Burning Blade cult and a traitor to the Horde. Seems legit. Off Queef went, to continue his World of Warcraft adventure, full of action, suspense, betrayal, and all sorts of other things, but mainly betrayal. And we're leaving it there! So I probably missed a couple of things in this one. It was kind of intentional. There's more of an overarching narrative with the Burning Blade cult, so I didn't feel as obliged to mention that Queef killed some razor boars, or whatever. Next week, we'll be looking at the dwarves' journey through Coldridge Valley and Dunmoreau. As always, thanks very much to the patrons. If anyone would like to support the channel in that way, links in the description. And there's a link to the Discord server in there as well. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, all of that bollocks. And all that's left to say is, thanks for watching, and see ya!